What have you found? And also, do buy the books. There may be teachings in them. A novelty dice maker? Well, spit it out. Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use the ankle bones of sheep. I don't understand. If it's not her, then where is the source of the doom? How did she explain the curse?
Before you say anything, ask yourself, is the woman really able to Just don't say you don't have any answer yet. The uncertainty is killing her. You've come this far, you know how to end it. There is an entity behind the entity.
Too many inconsistencies. What kind of talk is that? Yes, because her business consists of the psychic leech that's been feeding the curse. I see that you've fallen for her manipulation, Detective. The investigation is over. I just hope that you haven't made anything worse by going. Thank you for nothing. Please do buy some books or be on your way.
Wow. Total psychic collapse between you two right now.
I am sorry we had to disappoint you, ma'am. Can we go now?
What have you found? A novelty dice maker? Well, spit it out. Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use the ankle bones of sheep. I don't understand. If it's not her, then where is the source of the doom?
Before you say, just don't say you've come this far, you know how to end.
Oh, how horrid! I knew something wasn't right about. Tell me, did you find a way to break the curse? What does that mean? Are you certain? Oh, but who am I to question your methods? All that matters is that the energies are retreating. I can already feel the curse lifting. It will be a long time until we're fully free of it, of course. Thank you, officer. Truly, you've brought a better psycho-emanation to this humble bookstore, and that's no small achievement.
It will only last a day or two, a week tops. Then her mood will sour and she will feel the curse again.
All right then. All's well that ends well. Should we return to our ordinary lives?
The sight of bullet holes stirs something in you, making you forget the lieutenant's surname.
Where? There? Those are old. We should focus on present crimes from the present century.
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum, rendering the machine A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. You spell out the word Onug, written on the other side. Under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast, studded with concrete and reeds. On it, a church on stilts. The church looks old and weather-worn. There are no lights in the windows. This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 20. Your money disappears into the coin slot. The curtains on the display open. You lean in to catch the view. It's blurry, different blues and greens. In the middle of the shimmer stands a drab gray. The lenses shift. The ghost sharpens into an islet in the bay. In the ruins, a man-made structure is visible. A half-sunken sea fort. Its concrete almost reconquered by nature. It looks as if it was abandoned quite some time ago. Nothing but a rotten tooth remains of the ant. Its leaves ripped from it by the winter wind.
Really? I don't have the eyesight to make it out.
The little brave birch tree seems to wave back in the wind.
Have you no shame? Whining about your back every time you bring out the measuring tape.
René, you're a man with a fork in a world of soup. Please, let's just try to enjoy the game, all right?
I'm trying to, but you keep breaking my concentration. You're old. I can see that. We're both old. Now stop.
These manly men are playing balls. This is a ball game. Grab a ball and play it. Don't ask questions. Shoot first. Ask. That's the spirit. Don't even waste your breath asking about the game. They wouldn't know anyway. They're way past their prime. immediately surprised by the ball's lack of weight. No matter, you'll make it work. God, this is right. You feel the familiar tremble of excitement and adrenaline that precedes every victory. Time has frozen. The cold metal ball is surprisingly smooth against your neck. It has a pattern on it, probably a sponsored ball. Yours would only be covered with bumps of learning. Already your muscles are adjusting to the weight. The nervous system calibrates. A chilly breeze ruffles your hair as you stand there, feet firmly planted. All sounds, smells, even the wind, everything fades until...
Merde! Bordel de merde! What the hell is your problem? Have you... I'm trying to...
These manly men are playing balls. No, you got this. There's the...
See? Your munching and complaining have ruined my concentration.
Ah, mon Dieu. The pain in my back is unbearable. I can't even say if it's in my back or hip anymore. Feels like it's in both.
I hope you pass out from it, you goddamn jellyfish. Men like you are the reason this nation is sinking.
Shush. Ignore them. They don't know what they're doing. They're old. You are letting down yourself and the team. Get in the damn game already. Doesn't matter what team. Pick a team. Any team. The blue team. You're letting them eyes on the ball, Dinky Winky.
Sure, officer. I am René Arnaud, and my specially abled partner here is Gaston Martin. How can we help you? Unfortunately, I don't. Unlike most of the locals, I have no qualms about assisting law enforcement, but this affair has passed me by completely. In Martinez, the union is the law, so can you really blame them? Cop is a pejorative term. I don't have a problem with policemen. On the contrary, I admire the effort to bring order to our streets. If I knew, I would not be afraid to tell you. I simply don't. I'm an old man, not a coward. The daily business of the riffraff no longer concerns me.
This is a man with a lot of past, but little present, and almost no future.
Ah, yes! King Philip III, on his steed. A reminder of what
Oh, absolutely. At the mercy of a cocaine-snorting tyrant who emptied the treasury so he could sleep on a bed of gold.
Cocaine? Cocainum? Sounds like our kind of king. And just imagine what kind...
A superpower, feared and respected. A testament to what this country can be under the leadership of a true king. Someone who knows how to rule. Decisively, without fear of offending the sensibilities of the frail and weak-minded among his subjects. This is something the insurgents never understood. A nation is only as strong as its leader. That's why it was such madness to try to...
Don't get started on that again. What happened, happened.
The carabiner doesn't reply, but His entire being communicates unbreakable rules. No one and nothing can change this man's mind. He is as rigid as they come.
Right. Yes. The terrain here provides an interesting variety to a familiar game. I do. Fire from heavy artillery. Why what? Because that's what happens when communards hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up your home. Commies, communists, socialists, anarchists, call them what you like. They just chose the name to feel special. Senseless sentimentality. Sadly, no. It was the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We fought valiantly. Too valiantly. So valiantly we got licked. Should have fought dirty, like they did with their suicide sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We didn't though, and we lacked caliber. God bless him, but the suzerain's cannons simply weren't big enough. This place is a damn beachhead, son. They had to soften the commies up first. Yes, the military coordinated amphibious landing to take back Revachol.
He finds your lack of historic knowledge troubling, a sign of mental deterioration in...
Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revachol during Operation Deathblow in 08. The other 2 are off in Stella Maris and the Delta. This here is Blood Ground, where coalition boots first made landfall and cleaned those rabid dogs out. Most likely, we're playing pétanque on their mangled corpses.
Blood Ground. You got old René going there. Like he isn't hungry enough already.
Damn right, son. They laid the fire of hell on the city before they stormed it. And it worked, too.
He approves of this radical approach, knows it was necessary.
The rest of the city got cleaned up, but Martinez they keep as a monument. And now the Union Socialists are practically running the place.
Well, it's your own damn fault. You, we, the coalition, Revachol, whoever you want to blame, never finished the job. Officially, the party never...
You don't even begin to truly understand the players on the table, let alone the specific circumstances surrounding the... What do you think? Preposterous! Surely you don't mean it. I would have preferred if the Right Honorable King Guillaume returned through Revachol, or even if that damn clan Frisel had risen from the grave and led us. Sadly, that was not the case.
This royal failure weighs.
Instead, all that is just, holy, and beautiful in the world was wiped away, and now it's neon signs with toothpaste ads everywhere. Foreign influence peddling garbage and stupid music on the radio. This is just what the commies wanted. This was their plan all along. This is what they wanted to replace the role of the suzerain with. The suzerain is the king! Has everyone forgotten already?
Soon, they will forget everything. Him too. Then.
It's no use talking to you. You were still in Daddy's balls when it happened. Have you no shame?
René,
I'm trying to...
These manly men are playing. No, you got this.
See? You're...
ah, mon Dieu.
I hope you pass out.
Shush. Ignore them. They don't know what they're doing. Doesn't matter what team. Eyes on the ball, Dinky Winky.
Sure, officer. I am René. Unfortunately, I am Martinez. The UNCOP is a pejorative. If I knew, I would not be...
This is a man with a lot of past, but little present, and almost no.
Yes. The terrain here provides an interesting variety to a familiar game. Yes. It was left by heavy... Why what? Because that's what happens when communards hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. Sadly, no. Should have fought dirty, like they did with their suicide sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We did because this place is a damn beachhead. Had to soften the commies up, yes.
He finds your lack of historic knowledge troubling.
Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revachol during Operation Deathblow in 08. The other 2 are off in This here is Blood Ground, where coalition...
Blood ground. You got old René going there. Like he isn't...
Damn right, son. They let the fire...
He approves of this radical approach.
The rest of the city...
Well, it's your...
You don't even begin to truly understand the players at the table, let alone the specific circumstances surrounding the... What do you think? I'm just so damn sorry it had to be the coalition. After 8 years of fighting those hyenas, boiling cats for food and drinking piss in the mountains, I would have preferred if the Right Honorable King Guillaume returned.
This royal failure weighs.
Instead, all that is just... This is just what the commies wanted. This was their plan all along. This is what they want. The suzerain is...
Soon, they will forget everything.
It's no use talking to you. You were still in Daddy's balls. It's a Belle McGrave, 4.46 caliber, breech loading, Revachol made. This one's inoperable. The bolt spring is missing and the mechanism is jammed shut. Still a beauty. Where did you find her? I'm not surprised. There are probably lots of forgotten wartime weapons lying around here. Back in the day, everyone had something stashed. As for the rifle, I don't know what else to tell you. These BM-446s are an antique. No one uses them anymore. The ammunition is impossible to find. Ah, yeah.
Oh,
Cocaine.
A superpower, feared and respected. A testament to what this decisively, without fear of offending the sensibilities of the frail and weak-minded among his subjects. This is something the Revachol would be a different place if more people realize that.
don't get started on that again. What?
The carabiner doesn't reply. but his entire being. No one and nothing can change this man's mind. He is as rigid as they come, still in that antique uniform. It's a
Oh, old Philip was a big fan of the purple nose candy the nobility loved so much. A cocaine connoisseur of sorts. His egocentricity is borderline legendary.
You can't even take responsibility for yourself. How could you fathom the responsibility weighing on the shoulders of a ruler? That's why the Philippian kings use cocaine, for clarity of vision, to aid in their work. Regnum cocainum, Revachol's finest years.
I'm satisfied with this explanation.
Of course, clarity of vision, awareness.
Philip III was even brought into this world with the help of cocaine. The court made him administer the dose to his mother when she was in labor, and it is well known that with the help of cocaine, only the purest, of course, he was able to connect with higher realms.
Higher realms. Of course, it all makes sense.
It's really not. Please, do spare us the cocaine fairy tales.
Yes, indeed. We're not here to investigate the drug trade of centuries past.
Right.
I have really outdone...
Yes, that's what you need.
René, it's a little pleasures. Like, hello, officer. How might I be of assistance on this fine day? Let me think. I heard someone was hanged and left on a tree for a week. But that's all I know, really. No, officers, I'm sorry. And I really would like to
Then help them, you wimp. You have plenty of shoulder with the ghost caviar in the Union. Someone must know something.
I wish I could, but I just don't know anything. I always keep my nose clean and don't gossip. Everyone knows and respects that.
Respects?
I'm not even...
Of course he's holding back. His mouth is so full of Union prick he can't even speak properly.
Can I at least finish my fucking sentence before you piss on it? Is that okay, René? I'm not anyone important in the Union. I just know Evrard. Evrard Clare. Everyone in Martinez knows the Clare brothers. I taught these boys human studies and history in...
What do you know about history? You never witnessed history. Only heard about it years later, when it had already moved on. You don't know history.
The old soldier mumbles something under his breath and turns.
Let's try not to get caught in the crossfire.
Lest we leave riddled with bullet holes. This animosity is ancient.
No, thank you. For being consummate professionals. Oh, the goal is to throw you bull. As close to the cochonnet as you can. That's the cochonnet. You'll put that knowledge to good use in 50 years. I'm sure of that, officer.
I don't like where this is going, officer. Don't you think we should do something else now?
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building.
Hey, what's that noise down there?
The spread pattern of these bullet holes makes your chest ache. Your breath grows heavier.
Bullet holes generally look the same, so probably. But you're right. More old bullet holes from the revolution. Plenty.
Trying to sneak up on me? Come to slit my pigs, come to take me out? Trying to snuff me out? Don't get fucking clever with me, pig. You think you're so clever.
You see a young man on a balcony nursing a cigarette. His eyes have been...
Not looking for any trouble, officer. I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie, if that's okay. I just want to finish my cigarette.
It's the god of cigarettes and youth. Ask him if he's got anything. Don't let him go. This could be your witness. The balcony has a great view of the whole thing.
Is it really that important?
Like a nervous cat, he keeps stealing looks at the neighboring windows.
All right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run. I'd even go so far as to say that the view is a little too good, my dear gendarme.
We will remove the body as soon as possible. Now tell us.
Oh. You already asked me that, didn't you? No, not you. Some more muscular type.
And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman?
Last week? I don't know. Look.
You didn't answer the question. What were you doing?
I had a friend over. It was my Sunday friend.
A Sunday friend? How makes sense. Friends are nice on Sunday. You don't have to work. You can just spend time with pals, watching rugby and drinking beer. He doesn't reply, gesturing no with his cigarette. In the neighboring windows, you can see faint reflections of his silhouette, all from someone hides behind a curtain. Those windows have eyes, and those eyes are watching, spying on you three.
My name? My name is Martin.
Martin Martinez? Good local name. Let's go with that.
I'd even go so far.
We will remove the...
Oh. You already asked me that, didn't you? No, not you.
And when did you...
Last week?
You didn't answer...
It was my son.
A makes sense. Friend, someone hides behind a...
No. We won't. Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going.
This isn't the place or time for questions. Who knows who might be watching from the distance, hidden behind the curtains? For a moment, the man on the balcony seems almost vulnerable. Something moves in the depths of his feline eyes. Compassion.
I am sorry, but I really don't have the information you're looking for.
But, hold on, what's that? For a split second, his hand lingers, as though just it's a sign.
Good luck with the investigation.
He's gone. No point in running. Tenements like these often have multiple exits. If he doesn't want to talk to us, then he'll know how to hide himself. He could be a witness. Him or his Sunday friend. Either way, we need to look into that muscular type. He did leave us a sign. Did you see that? He wanted to draw our attention to that stone right up. If we find a way inside the building, we can ask around for his apartment.
A stone, like any other, lying in a whirl of sleet and mud. Maybe there's a key beneath it, rusty from the dirt.
This must be for the front door. Pity doesn't have the apartment number on it. This building has many apartments and the man can be in any of them. We'll just have to go in and see.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says number 11. It's a solid lump of metal, but the shackle is deeply corroded. A solid pair of chain cutters would make short work of it. Better whip out those cutters. You won't get very far otherwise.
Give me a moment. The cold never does any good for my bronchitis.
This woman's health is failing her. There's not much to do. Not in this damp.
I'm fine. Fine. Don't you worry about me.
You're still worried. It's very worrying.
Now, what do you want from me, policeman? Oh, you'll find plenty of Martins here. Don't you worry. Pea-brain. Someone played a trick on you. Martinez is a name for anyone who comes from Martinez, like Tim Jambrock or Raoul Ravachol.
Oops. You really didn't get the joke there.
I thought it was obvious. Anyway, officer, we don't have the witness's name.
Yes. I know who you mean. The scrawny boy who's always smoking like...
Somewhere in the building, a child starts crying. You hear a radio tuned to...
What's he in trouble for? Talk? He lives upstairs in room 28. Go to the balcony. It's...
Thank you. We should go check out his apartment on the balcony. See if he's home.
I'm no one. Just an old woman, if you can call it living. I have a little room upstairs right next to the... It's barely bigger than a closet. But I don't complain, no. I have my bed and my aching bones to keep me company. And that's...
And all she gets, too. The coastal wind beats down hard on the cold room door outside. Splashes of waves.
Ask away, policeman. The hell am I supposed to know?
She really doesn't like those nut jobs. Bad blood there.
People come and go. I don't keep an eye on everyone. Oh, that one is a scientist, a future scholar. I think he studies astrology at the community college. Education's good. I always tell them to study. Something to do with all those stars around his door. He asked me to leave. That's what I said. Astrology.
The lieutenant shakes his head as though to say, "Come on, people. Try to keep up."
Oh, no.
A shift in temperature. The air chills around you. Dust settles on the stony floor. A former architect stands before a slice of window, a room plan in her hand. A cold wave has made the air in the building stand still and
The streets will flow red once more, a great torrent rushing down Rue de Esperance. You wait and see.
The streets will not flow red with anything.
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C. And here I was trying to be polite. Just can't win with you pigs.
that smell coming from her paint bucket. It's not paint, it's heavy fuel oil.
I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's.
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative manner.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko. What do I care about some fucking tin eggshells? Ugh, alright, sad piggy. I'll give you this one. I saw a little girl in the fishing village running around with military grade. If you haven't been there, the village is a shithole down the coast from the main plaza. Have a good time. No. That's all the snitching Cindy the Skull does for today. I have a weakness for animals. It's the animal thing again. Damn it.
Or a weakness for police officers, miss. Thank you either way.
She nods disdainfully toward the woman performing maintenance on the boat docked next to the pier. Hatred, disgust, it's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features. The woman on the boat does not notice her staring.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. She's a professional negotiator, though. I have the feeling she will be very cooperative while telling us nothing. You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions, you know? Do your thing. Don't be afraid to get a bit wacky. Throwing her off is our best bet.
Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up. Can't you tell? I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words. Yeah? Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration will come to me now that I have an official...
You've lessened her desire to deface the building.
Watch your back, ungulate.
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says, "Num." This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced. Someone here, number 28. This is where the cleaning lady said the smoke.
Let's see if anyone's home. Knock on the door.
No one answers.
Looks like the young man we are looking for isn't home. I think our best chance to catch him is in the evening. We should return tomorrow after we have finished with our day's work. How about 9 p.m.? Sound good? Tomorrow, 9 p.m., right here. Apartment number 28. Good.
Damn. Turns out it's quite tricky finding someone in a big apartment building. Don't worry. Remember, tomorrow, he's probably gone for today. A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied.
Good evening, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM. glad to see you here. I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the...
It's hard to get a read on her precise disposition, but she appears helpful.
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. I believe the official title is Senior Labour Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines...
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-metre-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates. Yes, Jean-Luc Measurehead. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike?
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive. Mr. Clare told him to, how did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union.
Sounds like usual aggressive posturing.
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Every worker, a member of the board.
She nods.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first. Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood. He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar. Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organised labour at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
A mob. The debarders are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Debardeurs Union is... Indeed, and a hungry one. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the leech always hungers. The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock come to plead for work where the Union refuses to? If they were organised by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not right now, at least. I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore. Or coming to work. Ever. End of story. Indeed. The company suspects foul play, but there's nothing they could do. It was a Union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help? What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking. The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking, and that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
She nods.
Why, yes I am. Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around? I mean, we are on Le Caillou, are we not? We are, and the city of Revachol is on the island of Le Caillou.
She nods attentively.
The boat? No, it is called Coeur de Lake.
The word "it" feels strange. Such a beautiful boat deserves a breeze ripples through the sails and tugs at your hair. Below, the sleek, fish-like shape of the hull parts the water. Beneath that, a resounding darkness. You're reminded of something. Or someone.
My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder.
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman.
Good. Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
How curious. Why is that, Detective?
Awkwardness washes over the conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? I can't hear you, darling. Speak up, please. Oh dear. Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia. I don't even know. I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you gain by faking such a...
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement. She's a negotiator. Just float a favor at her. Insinuate.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something very tangible.
You're in, but expect her to drive a hard bargain.
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martinez. The Union controls the terminal, so it goes to reason.
They're profiting from this trade.
The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority and resources might turn over the right stones, or you can recover your badge. Though if I may be blunt with you, it sounds like that may be a lost cause.
Detective, a word in private before we continue. This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective. Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance and, not volunteer us to be her henchmen. This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation.
I'm sure you will, Detective. No, if there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we're siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching.
Good evening. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pine. I'm glad to see you here. I was dispatched to
That is good to hear.
How interesting.
It's hard to get a read on her precise disposition, but she appears helpful.
That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question. Better not tie the fourth day to the bat's day on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with.
She wants to answer the question. Protocol keeps her from it.
Why, yes I am. Good. What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild the Pines, and that is the terminal. Another subject. I'm not at liberty.
A billion?
Yes, past a certain point, numbers begin to seem imaginary, but they are quite real for the 72,000 employees who depend on Wild Pines for their pay. A conglomerate the size of Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving and growing, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It is a tremendous response.
She nods.
Everything. Right up to, but not including, I believe the official...
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The unions, now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago.
But this
I wasn't the original.
isn't the first.
Heavens, no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more... Mr. Clare, fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Keep in mind, this is a negotiation.
Sounds like usual aggressive posturing.
There are leaflets. Every worker, a member of the board. In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every worker a member of the board. It's quite simple. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position. A hard-nosed... And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, call me mañana.
This checks out.
Everard Clare is Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood. He is the most corrupt individual I have ever... Yes, Edgar is how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' due. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did organize labor at it.
A mob. The Débardeurs are...
Refreshingly honest, officer. And your opinion, detective? If I may ask. I'm a curious and talkative person, Indeed. And a hungry one. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. I'm glad you asked.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said, indeed, the point of the
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help? Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer...
Of course, ma'am. And this is my...
How curious.
Awkwardness washes over the conversation.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? Oh dear. I do believe...
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be...
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm a...
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some... I mean, favors for favors. A dirty alliance of some sort.
Of course. But before... The situation is extremely volatile. The sooner we can speak about this lynching business, the better for all of us. This reality. Ah, yes, the episode. Sounds like...
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on...
We may be here a while then. Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can.
All right, you're in. Begin with the first one. You'll appear worldly.
We're in Martinez, baby. Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year. I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. This place used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The reeds are the real star of the show here now. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets. It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. Yes, we're on an island in an...
Vast, lukewarm and unknowable, flowing in and out of sight.
Caillou. Imagine a pebble.
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her.
Revachol? Revachol, the great kind.
As if it's self-explanatory.
History detective. They built this city to resolve history. Up the nations of the Occident in the DeLorean century. 380 years ago. They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest, the fault lines deep. By that I mean conflicts. Ideological. We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connective tissue. It's where the money is. Oh, we're quite a way off. About 22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The
Silence. She lowers her hand. The water, the light. There is no recognition. Only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it. She observes your eyes scanning the horizon, then breaks the silence. Slow. This is one thought you need to complete. Where are...
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about a lowdown.
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more questions to ask, about even more fun. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Ma'am, Messier will be here later too, and tomorrow. Isn't that true, ma'am?
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
It's better not to eat all your candy.
Indeed. I'm always at your service.
...6 kilometers southwest in the Valley of Dogs, Junior Officer Chad Tilbrook takes aim at a rabbit. To his left, his partner, Emil Mullins, whispers, "You heard what happened to Tequila Sunset?" "Yes, he lost his mind," Tilbrook answers, fingers on the trigger. "Don't worry, Emil." He pulls it out slowly. Slowly now. He'll find we always do.
You? You're an officer of the RCM. Preciso mundo. Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body.
Yes, we are the Revachol Citizens Militia.
Yes, that means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin. Permit me to conclude with this. Who you are to me, and if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I am here to help. Glad to have been of assistance, the little that I know. Anything else? Of course, Detective.
Rigorous self-critique. Here it is. Hard facts from the man you are. You once jerked off in the locker room and were caught. You held a young woman by the arm and kept her in your apartment for 20 minutes against her will. That's right. These are not flights of fancy. These are real deeds, Harry, emerging from the darkness of your past. You tried shooting a fleeing suspect in the foot, but hit him in the pelvis, crippling him for life. And, above all, you let life defeat you. All the gifts your parents gave you, all the love and patience of your friends, you drowned in a neurotoxin. You let misery win, and it will keep on winning till you die, or overcome it. There are clothes inside. Cheap second-hand clothes.
Don't be shy. These are premium class clothes.
How about some premium class service over here? Like paying with net worth. Go over and ask him if you can do that. You find your hands deep in tattered and faded garments made from weird polyester blends that make your body itch and sweat in all the wrong places.
Economical, but also trendy. Look first-hand, buy second-hand. Keep the economy moving.
No good. All you can come up with are some treated wool pants. You can tell they're too tight around your thighs and too loose around the waist.
No luck? Why not take another look, officer? Keep supporting the economy.
There's a pile of
You like sunglasses, officer?
stylish shades, huh? They... A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. Loose wires dangle from the now vacant holes. In the middle is a lever. This panel usually closes the water lock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed salmon and butter sign in the way. Pulling the lever probably won't do. You pull the lever all the way up until the metal clicks against the contact pins. You hear it, nothing happens. A spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the water lock to get across the canal. Some other way. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning? You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinket. Try to find something pretty and cool here, then use it to win her back.
It's not often that I see officers from the RCM in my pawn shop. What can I do for you?
His courtesy is not insincere, but he prefers being alone with his projector, just watching the movement of light across the walls of the shop.
I haven't had any problems myself, though some of my customers have complained about inconsistent law enforcement.
Who are your customers usually?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals, travelers, people looking for a deal, people looking... As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from. It keeps me entertained.
Entertained? He might be high. If he is, on what?
Let me have a look. Anything else you're thinking of selling? Another time, perhaps. I doubt it, but I can try and answer any questions you may have. I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery. Bad for business.
No one likes to see what you have to see every day.
The corpse behind the hostel, I assume. I don't have a truck with a mounted platform or anything of that sort myself. Ask around the harbour. There might be some workers there who'd be willing to help.
The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dancing colours.
Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned.
What? Sold? The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another. Alert.
You...
With Kim here too? That just sounded really, really bad.
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. Said you were undeserving of a service weapon of the Revachol Citizens Militia. And I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. Off the charts photon emissions. The unhealthy kind.
He's not telling you the whole story. It seems he's trying to spare you.
You weren't quiet yourself, officer. You were very distraught. You said the gun was a threat to your life and that you can't trust yourself with it tonight. And that you need them. When I said that I don't normally buy firearms, you put the gun barrel in your mouth and sort of sucked on it. Then I agreed to take it.
You sucked on a gun? Good. Very normal.
$15 real.
The lieutenant looks from you to Roy, and then back to you. It's clear that he hopes this tableau might still turn out. This has got to be the most. Wow, there's pity there too, in case you didn't notice.
No apologies necessary, officer. She didn't seem like a policeman, although she kept referring to herself as a pig, which was odd. I found her interest in the gun a bit obsessive, but I was just happy to get rid of it. Truth be told, she was terrifying.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the citizens' militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it?
Miraculously, his face does not reveal what's happening inside.
You're right that she could cast aspersions on the Force. We have to find her.
My apologies, officer, but I have no idea where she was coming.
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it now. You'll just have to hope you luck upon her somehow.
She didn't, truth be told.
Right, so...
Miraculously, his face does not reveal what's happening in...
It's possible in these parts of town. We ought to find her and discourage her from taking just...
Of course. Sure thing. Sure, man. Hello again. How can I...
Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. Lucky bastard. He's probably on Parolidon. It's tough to come by on the street. A drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow.
How would I know?
There's a note of indignation in his voice. Those triangle patches on his vest, you have a feeling they mean something, like they're similar to the halogen rectangle on your jacket.
Parolidon is just something since the People's Power disaster, I was with the Emergency Relief Brigade. Had to take it for
He's taken it for mental and emotional, not physical pain these days.
There's a reason why everyone's tried to forget any of it ever happened, and why no one has tried. So much disappointment. And no one's. Everyone's.
So much
A bunch of poor people built themselves a primitive nuclear reactor, hoping for the best. What do you think is going to happen? We were an all-volunteer force, self-organized, tried to help the fire brigades contain the spill.
Tough son of a gun, this one. Respect.
I lived by the river since I was a small boy. The Esperance. There wasn't much the volunteer force could do, however. We wasted years in the river mud. Years getting sick. A bad idea. Some poor leftist built a particle decay generator in hopes of bringing affordable electricity to underserved communities. It malfunctioned. Radioactive waste everywhere. The cleanup happened 15 years ago. I was young then. Later, my second aunt died, so I came to Martinez. People told me don't go there. It's a shithole. I said, people, we just had a nuclear pile meltdown. I'm gonna get as far away from Forburg as I can. Still in the same city, but... I like the theory more than the story. Outward movement, not vortices.
Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man.